12:46. The clock read on her nightstand. Was it morning or was it afternoon? Morning. It was dark. Valerie Malway closed her eyes to the harsh blue coming from the nightstand clock, but her mind stubbornly stayed in between the awake and the dream. On the edge of the blissful sleep that she'd been lacking in the past few days. 12:47. Just got back to sleep. Her eyes were just about to shut one last time when a silver light appeared at the end of her bed. "Mommy, can I sleep with you?" A voice came through. Valerie smiled. "Sure, honey, come here." She lifted her blanket up and felt a small body against hers. She felt cool to the touch as Valerie wrapped her arms around her. Then her eyes shot open. She just remembered. She didn't have any children. A letter to my wife. Dear Tabby, when we first met, I knew it was love at first sight. Your beautiful blonde hair and blue eyes. Oh, how they melted my heart. Even though you had spilled your drink all over my favorite shirt, your voice had calmed me instantly. The apologies you gave, even wiping your drink off me. Oh, how I long for your touch again. You left a few days ago on some work trip, so I decided to write this letter to my wonderful and beautiful wife. I love the way you smell. I love your smile. I love your voice. I love your sense of fashion. I love how knowledgeable and witty and how understanding you are. I just have one question. Why the restraining order? I thought you fell in love with me too when we met last week. Your husband, Tim. He finishes writing it just before slipping it into a pair of shoes in her closet. I suppose I should start by telling you a little about myself. I'm 19 years old, I live in Pennsylvania, and I guess I've always been a creative person. When I was little, my parents would remark about what a vivid imagination I had. For the most part, I was a normal child. I liked drawing and writing, and I hated math. I had trouble making friends, so I played with my imaginary friends. We'd play games out in the woods. I always liked playing with these friends, because I knew I could trust them, control them. I knew they would never hurt me. Not like the other beings that I thought up in my head. Or at least, I think they were just in my head. I used to have a lot of trouble sleeping at night. I would always get out of bed and get snacks, watch TV, or play with one of the cats my family would rescue. My mom was a veterinarian, so she would take in stray cats, nurse them back to health, and then adopt them out. It drove my parents nuts for me to stay up so late. Everything was fine until one day, when I was about 9 or so. I woke up late at night, as per usual. When I was playing downstairs, I was playing with a rescue animal, Jacob. For whatever reason, I was drawn to the large glass doors leading to the backyard. I normally would never go outside at night, and the curtains covering them were always shut. This night, however, I felt the urge to go outside. I opened the curtains, almost expecting to see someone or something standing there, staring in, but nothing was there. I started to feel a bit braver, so I opened the door and stepped outside, Jacob right behind me. This is when things got bad. Behind my house is a large field, and past that, a forest. None of that was visible. We live in the middle of nowhere, so there were no streetlights, nothing, only empty space. And for some reason, this empty space was calling to me. Somehow, I walked into the abyss. I felt a breeze against my face, which smelled like honeysuckle and sage from my mom's garden. I kept walking, until out of the darkness I saw something walk towards me. It was glowing, a pale white. My first thought was a ghost. But this was different, more physical. It had a vaguely humanoid shape, but the eyes they weren't there. They were only black orbs on this pure white form, almost like it was absorbing the darkness. I wasn't sure if it was getting closer or bigger. I finally broke out of my trance and ran back inside, slamming the door behind me. I took a breath and I was drawn to look back outside. It was there, right there, staring in. I shut the curtains and ran back, screaming up to my room. My parents woke up and found me in my room. They yelled at me for being up so late, and about how my dad must be up early tomorrow. I, however, was just glad to be alive and safe. Jacob was gone forever, consumed by that thing. When I told my mom the next morning, she said that I probably imagined it, that Jacob ran away. and that we'd see him again. We didn't. She tried to tell me that he must have found a new home. I knew she was lying. For a while, that was that. But ever since, I have made sure all the curtains are closed after sunset, and to never, ever go out after dark. I went away to college a year ago, coming back home for vacations. A few nights ago, while at home for Christmas break, I decided to go outside late one night for a smoke, momentarily forgetting my childhood experience. The air was freezing cold, but the cigarette momentarily warmed me. It formed only light in the darkness, and soon it appeared again. I ran back inside just like before. Since then, I kept having nightmares. Nightmares that I would look out the window and see it, its black, shadowy eyes, its all-consuming body. I'm starting to lose the ability to tell my dreams from reality. I just want to know if I really saw that thing, if it's haunting me, or if it marked me in some way. My friends think I'm crazy, but do you think I'm crazy? I'm getting a little nervous right now. There was a fire at the supermarket I worked at, and no one has found the culprit. But they say they have a lead, and they're looking at the cameras. This has been going on for quite some time now, and this is probably the 4th or 5th fire. The first location was at a gas station, and only 3 were killed. The cameras in the gas station were too damaged to be looked at. The next 3 stores are too much information for me to give out. I'm trying to keep this under 500 words after all. Anyways, back to the 5th store. It's a supermarket, so it was pretty large with about 50 people in there. The fire actually started at the entrance, so there was no way the customers could leave unless they knew the exits. Only about 13 made it out alive. The cops haven't found the culprit for these fires. Good. I've come so far, and I have so many stores left to burn. I should probably move to a new state if I don't want to get caught. After all, the cops do have a lead. My stepfather hated everything my mother loved, not just me, or her hobbies, and hell, probably himself too, but everything that made her happy. But Apollo he hated more than anything. I was 5 when me and Mom got Apollo, a skinny, skittish puppy at the time. He was patient with me. Toddlers aren't always nice, but he worshipped Mom. The little I remember of that time was happiness. I was 7 when that man moved in. He didn't tolerate happiness in the house. He kicked Apollo for being too loud, and soon kicked me as well. After almost losing a finger, he learned not to hit us when Apollo was there. If he had known that I had noticed that he feared the dog, he would have beat me for noticing. He hated weakness, and it was always someone else's fault. After a while, he started ordering me to herd Apollo into another room and close the door when he wanted to beat my mom. Apollo would bark, howl, and claw the door when it happened. The neighbors called animal protection 3 times, but never called the police. Some dogs can open doors. Apollo wasn't one of them. I did not kill a man when I was 8 years old. All I did was open the door.